It took Vita 44 years to come up with a solution to the original problem, which was with the Vita Classic Shade Guide. In the previous Tipsy Tuesday, I discussed with you friends that every color has three virtues. You have hue, chroma and value, and unfortunately, the Vita Classic Shade Guide is based on the hue and chroma and does not give value importance. This is where Vita said, let's come up with a new shade guide, and in the year of 1998, 44 years after they introduced the Vita Classic, they came up with the Vita 3D Master. Now remember, the Vita Classic had 16 shade tabs. The Vita 3D Master has 26 shade tabs, which means more confusion for a clinician because now I have more shade tabs to choose from. The Vita Classic was all about selecting the shade in one go. The Vita 3D Master said you have to go through a 3-step process to select the shade. So although the new Vita 3D Master was a value-based shade guide, it made my life as a clinician even more complex. Let me try and explain this shade guide to you. I present to you the Vita 3D Master Guide. Now on the 3D Master Guide, the gray portion, which is the base of the shade guide, if you look closely, there are some numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This is the value. So remember, you first choose the value with this particular shade guide system. All right, so going from one end to the other end, you go basically from the brightest to the dullest of the shades. All right, and then when you look at those vertical shade tabs, these vertically arranged shade tabs are the intensity or the chroma, 1 being the lightest, 3 being the darkest, and 2 is somewhere in between. And last you choose the hue, which is the horizontally arranged portion, which is the LMR, where L is yellowish, R is reddish, and M is yellowish red. So they completely eliminated the gray shades completely in this guide. Now, what's the complexity of the guide? Let's say I first choose the value. So I go from right to left. I squint my eye and I have to select between 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, which is on the horizontal base of the shade guide. I have to first select the value. Let's say I've narrowed down the value to a number 2. I now remove the M tab. I fan it open and I check. What am I checking for now? I am now checking for saturation or the depth of color. All right, so basically now we are looking at whether it is a dark color or a light color. So I choose between 1, 2 and 3 of the M tab. Now that I've done that, I remove the M, the L and the R and I put all these 3 together because I now need to finalize what is the hue. Now, I'm sorry if I've confused you even more. This is because, unfortunately, the guide in itself is a little confusing. So if I have, let's say, a 2R 2.5 shade. What is 2R 2.5? The first 2 is the value. R is the hue and the 2.5 is the chroma. As amazing as this shade guide is in concept, unfortunately, clinical application is difficult. That's the reason why I want you to join me next Tuesday as I explain to you my personal favorite shade guide, which is something that I use every day in my practice, friends. It is the 3D Master Linear Shade Guide. So block your day. Next Tuesday, I explain to you what my favorite shade guide system in dentistry is. See you then.